Hello, and welcome to Recent Activity, your new favorite entertainment review podcast that attempts to cover every film, every show, all at once. I am your co host, Andrew Morgan. With me, as always, his red right hand is because he loves to finger paint. It's Shane Beauregard. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well, buddy. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm very proud of that one. I'm glad you laughed along. Uh, big. I gotta tell you, big weekend, big couple of weeks for Nick Cave. Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds. My boy there, like red right hand. I'm doing the rewatch for Peaky Blinders, and obviously it's like on every episode, multiple times sometimes. And then everybody's doing a Scream rewatch in anticipation of Scream 7, which we will be covering here in a moment. And then it arrives in this movie as well, bringing it back from the original. Do you remember off the top of your head whether that song has been in a movie since the first Scream? I don't remember.
I don't think so either. I can't remember it in any other movie.
Well, that just adds to my note that I have that this movie is nostalgic for itself somehow. So that'll be the theme as we cover Scream 7, which had a huge opening weekend, having $96 million worldwide, 63 domestic, I believe it was. But the scores might give an issue to having some legs potentially for this film. It has a 6 out of 10 on IMDb, which is the good news. And the bad news is that the meta score from critics, 36 out of 100 on there, with a 2.4 letterbox for the maybe a little more discerning audience scores. This is co-written and directed by Kevin Williamson. Who is the original writer of the first Scream movie. Maybe, I think he did the third as well. Maybe even the second. He did a lot of the early ones. He was also the creator of Dawson's Creek, and he wrote a bunch of, he basically wrote like a bunch of the early, like mid 90s comeback, those teen slashers that we've come to know and love. This is based on a story from Guy Busick and James Vanderbilt, who were the writers that have been working on the last couple of Scream movies with the Radio Silence guys. And they've also done stuff like Ready or Not or Abigail and other such films of recent note. This brings back Neve Campbell into our lives. Courtney Cox is back as well. We also have Mason Gooding and Jasmine Savoy Brown from the more recent Scream films, the last couple. We also bring in Matthew Lillard, sort of. We'll talk about that as we go. By the way, this is full spoilers, so, obviously that little thing was tipped in some regard as what's going on here, and we'll get to all that coming up. But rounding out the cast, you got Joel McHale, Anna Camp, McKenna Grace, Ethan Embry is back,
Not looking good, but he's back.
We'll get into all that as well. So that'll be interesting. The plot here is when a new Ghostface killer emerges in the town where Sidney Prescott has built a new life. Her darkest fears are realized as her daughter becomes the next target. Whew, Shane, man. When you saw the trailer for this one and kind of knew what the trailer was aiming at, and seeing Neve Campbell back, Sidney Prescott back in your life after missing the last movie, what were your thoughts? Like, where did you think this was going to go? Did you have any expectations going in?
I honestly had no expectations going in. Based on the fact that I did like the previous installments of like Scream 6 and 5, like even though they didn't stick the landing in Scream 6, I still thought the setting in New York was different and enjoyable.
Yes.
Going to this, I saw the trailer. I'm like, okay, that could be good. So I didn't really have a bar for this one. I just went in thinking I'll be entertained. It's a Scream franchise. They usually do a pretty good job, at least keeping you entertained and in the pocket. So I had the bar set. I didn't even have a bar set for this one.
Yeah, I mean, noticeably, right? We did an episode where we did our most anticipated horror films of the year, and we didn't have it on any of our lists, and we kind of just said, yeah, and this is coming out.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it had distress written all over it, right? Because this movie was not meant to be the way it is. It was definitely heavily rewritten. It was obviously meant to be done with the cast that was more carried over from the last two films, which, you know, like you said, those are not perfect movies, but at least they have some intriguing characters and backstories that you felt like you were getting to know these people and seeing where this can go. But obviously, for anyone who doesn't know, there was a lot of political and personal reasons for the breakup between the team at Paramount and the leads of the previous ones, and then they had to basically bring back Nev Campbell and overpay her after they were supposedly, for her, from her side, underpaying her while she sat out the last Scream movie, and then they built it in to this plot. So that's an interesting thing. Obviously not the money part, but the fact that she sat out of the New York scene and the crimes committed by Ghostface there. So this one you're seeing definitely a more, I don't know. I thought it was missing a lot of things. And I think that it's it's so, I've heard the term self-serious. Like, it's basically like these movies have usually been a little more kitschy, a little more fun, or at least like a little bit of nods and a lot of film history, a lot of horror history built in, a lot of just, a bit of like quirky fun to the and nods to other things. And I don't know, it's funny that we're bringing Kevin Williamson back into the fold, which a lot of times you could be like, oh, well, this is the guy who wrote the thing we all love that set this franchise forward. And who knows Sidney Prescott better than him? And I felt like this was, I don't know, not tone deaf, but it felt like a different type of movie altogether. And I wasn't impressed with what we got.
That's an understatement.
Yeah.
It's like you said, the other Screams were kind of self-aware. They were more meta. They were fun,
Yes. That's a better way to put it. Thank you.
right? So you had all that going in with the previous Screams, and this one tonally was just different. It didn't have the fun. It wasn't meta at all. Like the writing, there was no character buildup. I didn't give two craps about these teenagers in this one. We didn't get to know any of them. They were just all
No.
they're all surface level. Even the one character they introduced, God, he's from the Gen V show. I'm sorry, I'm blanking on his name, but he was in it.
Yes.
I was like, it's cool to see him, but they didn't give him anything. I just didn't know where they're going with this movie. I was disappointed that they didn't make Joel McHale the first kill, since I can't stand that guy. I was like, oh, that
Aw.
even more ruined the experience for me. I can't stand that guy.
Come on.
He's awful. And it's
I like Joel
surprising because
McHale.
I went to a full packed theater with people dressed up as Ghostface Killer. So like,
Yeah.
and they're all cheering and like, and I'm like, what are you people watching? Like, it just, outside of a couple
Yeah.
of kills that were kind of cool, I will give it to them. There was some cool, like the beer tap thing and just, but other
Yeah.
than that, the third act fell apart once they revealed like who the ghost faces were. Like, I'm like, really? That's a fucking reach. Like, okay. Like, the blonde woman, I
Yeah.
forget her name. It's inconsequential here. Like, really, like, what was
Anna
her thing?
Camp.
Yeah, Anna Camp.
From the
So
Pitch Perfect movies and a
yeah.
lot of the
So
things I liked her in.
what was her reason for being the ghost? It was so stupid. And I'm like, your son didn't realize you're in a loony
Right.
bin all this time. Where the hell did he
Oh,
think he was?
I have so many questions. It was
Like,
like full of holes.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's so full of holes. It wasn't fun. I just was so disappointed in this movie, and I just, even bringing Nev Campbell back. And to your point, they must have said it 4 or 5 times how she missed out on New York. Like Courtney Cox brought it up several times. It was
Yeah, as
brought
like
up
a bad thing. Like she can't sit these things out.
Yeah, it was brought up by a couple other characters, and they just didn't do any building in this installment. And it's a shame because I said outside of like Scream 3, maybe it's been an enjoyable franchise, especially for this many movies. Because in every franchise, you're going to have like multiple, like, oh, those are stinkers. Like Nightmare on Elm Street,
Yeah.
they had a bunch of them. Friday 13th, you go on and on. at a bunch of like just awful movies. These have all been entertaining up until this point. So I was
Yeah.
thoroughly, thoroughly disappointed in this movie. And I don't know where they go for Scream 8. I'm not even like, it hurts my head just even thinking about that. So I think it's time to put a toe tag on Nev Campbell and Sidney Prescott and just let her rest in peace from this point on. Like, I just
Well,
don't
with
get
the
it.
box office, though, that's not going to happen.
I
Know
know.
they're making at least one or two
I
more
know.
of these.
I just don't know where they go from here. Like,
I have that written down as well, and we can get there. But I feel like the only reason we see these movies is for the whodunit aspect of it nowadays, because ever since, it's always been like some offshoot of Sidney, right? And then after a while, and then, you know, these last few, it's like, yeah, it is, but it also has something to do with these new people. So that makes sense. And it's always been some extra layer to it. And this one was the weakest of all of those in terms of the rationale, as you noted. And I thought this franchise was done after 4. Like, I thought 4 was complete garbage. And obviously they took a lot of time off in between 4 and 5 to kind of reset themselves. And in a way, this was like a rushed reset, sort of. Like, it's connected, but it's not. It tried to really separate itself. And in fact, kind of took shots at what was happening. And again, we referenced at least the fact that she wasn't in 6 and then kind of like push it to the side a lot in this one. But I have no idea what they want us to feel or care about at this point. Because I will say, for all the missteps of Halloween, because a lot of people will compare it to this, because now it's the same thing. It's like a final girl slasher film that has gone on with many, many, many sequels at this point. And it's not like a Jason thing, whatever. But what they did get right, at least you could say, is that, or at least the thing that rang the most true, is that Laurie Strode turned into like this distressed hermit who didn't trust the world outside of her surroundings. How is Sidney Prescott like a coffee shop owner who's like chilling in the suburbs,
fully functional,
right? Who seems genuinely happy, isn't like completely paranoid, has a little bit of it maybe, but isn't like a complete mess. And she has a daughter with Joel McHale. The daughter's how old? Probably 17,
16,
I would imagine,
17.
somewhere in that range, right? And how long is this franchise? How old is this franchise? 30 years now. So when did we jump back in? So for how much they give her shit for not being in New York, it's like, well, she has a family. And it felt like, is she supposed to be in hiding? Because she kind of doesn't seem to care. And everybody in this town knows who she is. If the whole point for me was to get like some solitude and to like kind of get away and give my daughter a new life and all these things, it would really suck. I maybe she can't have anonymity, but I was just like, wouldn't you go somewhere where keep going until you can't be recognized anymore? Or like, like change your name, like all these things. I don't know. Like, her life is on full blast. Obviously, there's many stab movies. I think what they calculated now, it's now 12 people who have tried to kill her and her extended people now.
Yeah.
So it will never end. So how is she so calm, like in this? I just don't get it. Did that bother you at all? I mean, there's many things but that was one thing that just really, I was like, for this franchise, it's weird that she's kind of just ho-hum.
Yeah, no, it did bother me because, like you said, she'd be more like Laura Strode than anything else. Like, but she's not. Like you said, she's not. She's like you said, she's acting like nothing's happened. Ho hum, I have a husband and whatever, and like she's not shell shocked at all.
She reset her life.
Yeah, she's not shell shocked at all. What I found frustrating, it's like the conversations the daughter had with her. It's like they didn't know each other. I'm like, you never had these conversations before. You're just now having them. Like, don't you know your mom? Don't you know your daughter? Like, what the hell's going on here?
One of my first notes, dude, was, hold on, I have it written down. I will show you, or I will tell you. She's just now asking her mom if stab was accurate.
Yeah,
she literally said that to her.
That's what I'm saying. Like, there's
she's like 17 years old.
there's multiple conversations they had together. I'm like, you're just now digging into this, like now, like
Yeah.
it's like you would think like she was Joel McHale's daughter, and they just like moved in together a month ago. Like,
I'm named after someone who died?
yeah.
Oh my God. Which, by the way, we can get into that too. The
Oh,
Tatum
God.
homage
Oh.
feels like you wrote the first movie. Are you aware that that really wasn't kind of the relationship that I saw it as? Did you see it as that? Like, did you see Tatum as this character that we want to put on a totem,
Nope.
like as a totem, as like an homage?
Nope. And I didn't see them as good as the friends that she was describing.
That's really what it was. Yeah.
From the first Scream. I was thinking back to Scream as she was saying that. I'm like, they were friends, but they weren't like, I'm going to name my daughter after you, friends. Like,
no.
What? Yeah. Like, a lot of this just didn't make any sense, man. Like, and I could have forgiven it if it gave me characters that I cared about. Like, just give me more depth of character, give me some story points, give me something. But it just was all surface level. And I'm like, oh, I don't care about any of these teenagers. Like, just even Courtney Cox felt like shoehorned in.
Yeah, and we could get into her too, where even that relationship, you would think over time, and it felt like over these several movies that their relationship has gotten closer because they have like that survivor bond, the trauma bond of sorts, that the way their relationship came off was like they hadn't seen each other since the first movie.
Right.
Like it was like, I've been meaning to ask you these questions for so many years. Like, fuck you. You haven't asked anything. You don't talk like outside of the, like, you've been around each other for 30 years.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? And then to do it on live TV, like you're trying to mess with her at this point? Like, no, absolutely not. So there were, this is why I think this movie is getting beaten up, because even the people who have followed this franchise for so long, either you're on like the train of, I love all of these things, they're so entertaining, I'll just watch them all the time, I don't care. And you'll just go, yep, another banger, see you next time. And that'll be fine. I think for the people who truly care about the lineage of things and really getting into the character development and the story that follows this franchise, and then obviously the motives of the killers this time too, it's getting even more strained, even worse, and just seems to not even recognize itself at this point. And as I noted up top, it has so many callbacks to the early stuff, and including like a clip show thing of them playing AI versions or whatever of, you know, past people like Dewey and Scott Wolf's character and all these other things, just doing all that. So it really just it felt like they're almost as if they were just like, if we're gonna go out, we're gonna go out with like as just dumping out the toys from the whole franchise.
Yeah,
of sorts.
I guess I forgot about the AI little homage. I really did. I'm like, oh God. And can we talk, like, it actually, at the end of the movie, I'm thinking, you know what would have made a better movie? Even though it would have made no logical sense, let Matthew Lillard's character be alive for real. That to me at least would have been like, okay, like he could have never survived that, but I'd rather take him than what they gave us at the end. I'm like, give me a resurrected Matthew Lillard, you know? From what we saw, because at first when we first see him on screen, he's like, "Oh, I'm going to show you who I am off the bat." I'm like, "Oh, this is a different approach. We actually know who the fucking Ghostface is before the big reveal at the end. I'm going to see how this kind of plays out."
I actually, you're right. I like that. I thought that's what we were going to get from the trailer, and I was actually all jazzed up for that. I was like, cool.
And then they pulled the old okey doke on us, and that's not what it was at all. And they just fell flat in their arse after that. So I don't know, man.
And if anything, so okay, I don't want to fully play the game of this would have been cool, and kind of like poking instead of being like critical of what we got. But at the same time, one, I believe you're right. That would have been an interesting switch up to be like, this isn't a whodunit, this is a revenge movie. And in a way, they play it like one anyway. So you might as well have just done it with someone who we actually give a shit about. So there is that. I appreciate that thought. I had first thought is Stu's video was AI. I never thought it was that because one, it looked hokey as hell. And none of this is cinematic, by the way. This is the flattest movie and least cinematic version of the Scream franchise to date. Like you mentioned, with the New York backdrop, even though it wasn't really New York, it's like shot in Toronto or Vancouver or wherever. But like, at least they tried to make it like interesting to put him out of the suburbs into the city streets, busy city like New York, and have it be changed up, at least change the dynamic. I like that. I could take that. I enjoyed that. The other thought I had was, wouldn't it have been cool, like, if the daughter and Ben are the killers to get out of the shadow of Sidney?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that have been more interesting, too, to just be like, you raised a killer? Like, that would have been fucking cool. And out of just literally spite of, like, everywhere she goes, she's heard her whole life, I'm Sidney Prescott's daughter. What is better than having that happen? Of course, some studio exec would have probably said no because we might need her to continue the franchise and blah blah blah. So there are no stakes. This is the least stakes version of these whodunit and where to go forward, because everybody survives the most brutal of, like, Joel McHale should be dead.
God. Oh my God. Yeah. When he was alive at the end, I'm like, how the is that guy still alive?
12 at least, like 12 stabbings at least. Deep, those big knives they always has, those, huge blade, deep knives. And then he's wrapped up in plastic wrap. So where, like, he probably would have suffocated on top of bleeding out. There's no way he's alive.
Yeah.
So that's number one. And then, you end up having this killer duo. You cool to get into that now?
Yeah.
So Anna Camp and Ethan Embry are the killers here. And their motive, which...
Oh.
Did you even catch a motive on Ethan Embry's part? Nope. Outside of that?
Outside of him linking up with her in the mental ward? Nope.
Yeah, I guess just because they're friendly.
Yep.
And that he was like, cool, I can help you do this.
And somehow they roped Carl into it.
Sure. Yeah, it's...
So there's 3 of them to begin with?
It's so annoying. Like, again, she was an abused wife.
Yep.
Had an abusive ex-husband, whatever, who... based on her knowledge of Sidney Prescott and how badass final girl she is, that she noticed that the one thing that leads to her survival is that she takes care of business herself and she kills all these motherfuckers.
Yep.
So she decides, I'll take her own life into her hands and kill her ex-husband. And then when she finds out that she can go to New York to kill again, to take care of business, that she was like, oh, fucking coward, piece of shit.
Yep.
I'm done with you. You just sat here in the same neighborhood I did and didn't do vigilante justice to go handle business in New York.
Yep.
Okay.
That was the straw that broke the camel's back, apparently. She went away. Like, she didn't, whatever. I'm like,
yeah, she lost her mind, went to the mental ward and all these things. And like you noted before, no idea for it seemed like a long time, and that she just so her husband's dead, she's in the mental ward. Who the hell is watching her son? Like, I don't know what's going on with that storyline. It just nothing worked. And it's unfortunate because I do like Anna Camp.
I do too.
I do like Ethan Embry, although again, that whole thing was very thankless. And the fact that he was like, oh yeah, I used to work for Google. Oh, yeah, really? Then why are you at a mental ward? What is going on?
I thought about that too. I'm like, oh, so you're a super IT, you could do AI and all that kind of deep fake stuff, but now you're just pushing around buckets at a mental ward? Like, come on, man.
Yeah, I don't get that at all. So there's a lot of things to really roll your eyes at, including, I thought you would find it funny that it's like, one, a young person having a boombox, or no, sorry, there was a boombox in the construction site. That's what it was.
Yep.
There was a boombox in a construction site, which I was like, who the fuck has one of those? And then it was playing Turnstile, and I'm like, so these dudes who are working on your house are just jamming out to Turnstile? I'm like, I don't believe that whatsoever. And then on the flip side of that, the daughter had posters of Duran Duran on her wall, and I was like, in what world are you talking about? Because it's not even like an homage to like, oh, her mom like this kind of stuff in the 90s or something. It's like, I don't remember a Duran Duran poster in her wall. I could be wrong. It could have been a nod. I don't remember anything. But I was just like, good God, they can't even just have basic things make sense to me. So everywhere I looked, I was just so frustrated. And like I noted before, it was a flat, just no style, no cinematic nods, no charm, no wit, no sense of urgency. It wasn't scary. And as you know, like outside of like 2 action kill setups, like between probably the coffee shop, like the chase and the bar scene, that's about it. Otherwise, and I don't know, I got I guess some enjoyment out of the opening sequence, but again,
okay.
It was just this multiple nods to the previous film that they just kept doing. It was the house, again trying to set up the stew thing, which I guess, and then to have them reenact the Billy Loomis coming through the window thing and redoing lines from stab to make it authentically like they're actually doing the scene. And why would you do that to the daughter of Sidney Prescott? That's fucking ridiculous. I don't know. And then the Tatum homage, like there's so many things where I don't know if he's just nostalgic for himself at this point, because what has Kevin Williamson done in recent note that I've gone, yeah, good to have him back?
Nope.
But I mean, again, listen, he brought a lot of good stuff. And actually, now that I say that, did he have anything to do with the reboot
of I Know What You Did Last Summer? Is that you're about to say? I think he did, actually. I was thinking about that. I think he did.
Which again, it's like, thanks. Now welcome back, and now get the fuck out of here, because we need something, to get us back in the game here.
Did you also know, outside of the coffee shop scene at the beginning, was this movie taking place during COVID? Like, because there are no townspeople, there are no other high schoolers. All their friends are in the same acting class. Like,
yeah,
the town was fucking empty, except for the one scene in the coffee shop. That's it.
Yeah,
they're running around the streets with nobody around.
Yeah, there is something to that for sure. There's a lot of like, where are the parents here, until it's convenient that one of them is the killer.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. You're right, though. It does feel like a little empty. And then obviously they have the curfew stuff to try to hark it all back. Oh, and right. And then, of course, the red right hand.
Yeah.
The callback, too. So this thing was full of... I don't know who this movie is for. It's because there's a ton of fan service, but I don't think any of it... A lot of it doesn't even make sense, let alone makes me go... Like, it makes me nostalgic for the old movies.
It's not meant for old Scream heads like us. It's meant, I think, for my daughter's age group. Like,
I think that's true, because I feel, honestly, the age level of the people around me at the theater definitely skewed younger. Like the people who have gotten back into it since it was kind of rebooted with 5.
Yeah.
And then kind of probably went back and watched all the old ones, and now they're well-versed. Kind of like how, I don't know how I grew up a little different than most folks, but like, I wasn't of age when Halloween first started, because I was in the 70s. But in the late 80s, early 90s, I was watching all the old Halloween movies, and then kind of took from H2O on, like in the theaters, pretty much. So I guess this is that now.
I think it is. I was thinking about that, because I think for the younger generation, they might get like, oh, let me go watch the first Scream to see what Tatum is like and see what everything was going on with Billy Loomis and all this kind of
Yeah.
nonsense. It's not meant for us, man. At the end of the day, I mean, kids these days just want to see kill scenes. They don't really care about
Yeah.
character depth. I mean, they just oh, don't go in there. Like, I really think they're just trying to grab a hold of just that demographic we were talking about. It's not. If it
Well,
was
especially
for
with
us,
AI too,
yeah.
right? This is, a
If it
modern
was
problem.
for us, they told like we discussed for a half hour, they totally missed the mark on them appeasing the original Scream fans because it's off the rails at this point.
Yeah, I think it felt like the same way that I Know What You Did Last Summer felt, where it was like, we're gonna bring this into a modern age. We're gonna talk about true crime fans, and we're gonna talk about AI, and we're gonna talk about, what it would kind of be like now to be in a movie of this franchise, while bringing the other people back from the original stuff and mixing them in with a new version of it and kind of having everything collide. But when you do that, it's so hard to do and to make it good. And again, we've talked about this probably a lot before. H2O is probably the only version that I kind of like, where this kind of
Yeah,
meshed together.
they did it perfectly. That movie,
Yeah.
go back and watch it. We talked about it before. They did that right. They meshed the old with the new, and it was perfect.
Yeah. And I don't think anyone's really kind of got it right since,
Nope.
that I can imagine. Because of these major franchise, I can't think of one where I was like, okay, cool, they got this perfectly in sync. Like, there's a version, like, I guess Scream 5 and 6 they're not bad.
No.
They're not great. But like, I think H2O is the better version. But at least those like kind of sorta mixed it in pretty well but again, it just was like, oh well, we have the niece and nephew of Seth Green's character, and we have, Billy Loomis's daughter, and we have this and whatever. So it's all still around, it's all still the same thing. I don't know. I think this one just missed the mark, man. I mean, like, you can't. We've already said all of what we're gonna say, but is there anything else you got on this one before we get into scoring?
No, I think we pretty much lambasted this movie as much as we could.
What, like, to you, because it made so much money, where do you think it goes from here?
Honestly, I have no idea. Because where can they go from here? Unless you make Courtney Cox the next Ghostface killer, I don't know where you go from here. Like,
Yeah,
you tied up all the like. I don't like. I honestly have no idea. Like, unless they make it pivot more to Sidney Prescott's daughter, Tatum.
I think that's the only thing they could do.
That's the only thing they can do is make her more involved in the sequel going forward. Because I think
Yeah.
Prescott's storyline has run out. They're gonna need something like just like that will blow our minds as far as like oh, he did it or she, like, I don't know where they go.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I'm really, of course I'll go see it when it comes out.
I
But
know. This is part of the problem. We're part of the problem.
yeah, we're part of the problem. Because I
Yeah.
do kind of want to see how they flip it to this to 8. But
Yeah.
I was thinking in my head like where is the next logical step, and I don't see one.
Yeah. If you want like a goofy version, it's like, oh, okay. The daughter's in college and they go on spring break and, or European vacation, like Ghostface Goes Euro. They mock it for, they shoot all these
Right.
things in like Morocco and all these other places now anyway, or
Well,
Turkey
yeah,
or whatever the hell they're
listen,
shooting.
I
Yeah.
know what you did. I know what you did last summer. Went to Jamaica for part 2.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that could be
Or maybe a crossover, like we're gonna do like, Avengers team up crossover. I Know What You Did Last Summer with Scream.
yeah, that could be a possibility. Who knows?
Yeah. What is more CW than doing like like a multiverse, multi-show, multi-movie franchise crossover?
Hey, don't you talk trash about the CW, buddy.
Well, I say
I know, I'm
CW. I
kidding.
mean that in the
No,
Kevin
I know, I'm
Williamson
kidding.
way because he's a Dawson guy.
I know.
But yeah. But all right, man. So scores, I assume something low. How low'd you go?
I went low, but I didn't go as low as you might think. I gave it a 2. I gave it a 2.
Yeah, again, always dumb. I have to be between something, right? Because like it has a 2.4,
Right.
and I originally, when I was walking out of the theater, I'm like, it's a 2.5, because at least like it still has some quality. The iconography is still there. But obviously, there's nothing in the story that I can like hang on to, and nothing in the characterizations that I felt I connected to. So it's like, how can I even just say this was that? So I'm probably a 2 as well, but I don't know. If I cheat coded, I'd give it a 2.25. But what are we doing if I'm doing that? Who
Right.
cares?
And I
It's
took
called a not watch. That's what it's called.
and I took a note out of your page because normally I don't look back at what I graded a previous movie when I give out grades. But I
Yeah.
did look to see what I gave the I Did What You Know Last Summer reboot, and I gave that a 2 as well, and they're both equally as
Mm.
awful. So I was like, I can't get this higher than that one because they're both on equal footing as far as terrible goes. So I just left it as a 2.
Okay, gun to your head. Who do you pick of these two rebootquel things,
I go
legacy sequels?
I would say Scream 7 only because the
You
turn at
just
the
like the characters more.
no, not only that, but the turn at the end, and we discussed at the I Know What You Did Last Summer reboot with Freddie Prinze being the killer, like that made
Yeah,
no sense in that whole anthology of movies. So, and
yeah.
I like the Ghostface more than I do like the Fisherman hook guy. So,
Mm.
I'll give a slight nod to Scream 7 on that one.
I think yeah, like, because I got so mad at the turn from the last one,
I know.
and this one, I wasn't happy with it either. We complained about it in this episode, but at the same time, like, it wasn't a betrayal.
Right.
Like, I felt like I still know, the I Know What
Yeah,
You
it
Did
was
Last
like
Summer
a
one was a betrayal.
yeah.
That was like, why are you taking a legacy character and just completely going nonsensical? That was probably a worse turn than what happened here,
Yep.
but here was no good either. So I don't know. I think if the turn was better for I Know What You Did Last Summer, I
That
might
it
have
would
chosen that,
yeah,
quite
I
frankly,
agree. Yeah.
because at least like they gave more time and effort to the characters that they did r- bring
They
about
did. Yep. They did.
before they got into the old franchise heads.
Yep.
I don't know. It's a tough one, but they're both bad.
They're both
So,
bad.
they're by like you said, it's good to look and good to measure up. I honestly don't remember what I did for that. Let me look myself here.
Well, while you're looking, if anyone cares, I
Sure.
actually ranked my Scream movies in their franchise.
Yes,
So
please do that.
I
Yes.
will run it down. So I'll start from the bottom going up. So, of course, I landed Scream 7 is the worst movie in the franchise. And
Okay.
then I went Scream 3, followed by
Oh,
Scream
see, we disagree there. I'm a Scream
then
3 guy.
and then I went Scream 5, 4, 6.
Mm.
Scream 2 comes in at third. The Scream reboot, whatever, is just called Scream, is number 2, and of course, number 1 is the original.
Wait, so but isn't that Scream 5? Is Scream?
Yeah, but when you look at IMDb, it's just no, it just says Scream.
Right, but I
Yeah,
mean, when they did it, it was the fifth one.
right,
So
right,
yeah,
right. Yeah, sorry.
Scream 6 was so Scream 6 was what you meant when you said Scream 5.
Yes, sorry. Yep.
Okay, so you thought 5 was the second best
I
one that
do.
they ever did.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. I have to go and do a rewatch. Have you done one recently? I know a lot of people do when these things come through. I did not have time to watch 6 other movies, but a lot of them are very fresh in my head
And they're
still.
all on Paramount Plus, but I went back
Yes.
and watched the original Scream. I was going to rewatch Scream 3 because I remember how bad that was, and I just wanted to compare it to this one again, but I didn't have it in me on Sunday night, so I
See,
didn't rewatch Scream.
see, I feel that way about Scream 2.
Ah, okay.
So I think that's where some people get flip flop. I actually like Scream 3. I thought that was smart and I liked the writing on that one. But, I know a lot of people who hate it. I think it's a very divisive one. Scream 4, I have no love for whatsoever. So to me, like, this one and 4 are like in a dogfight for the worst Scream of the franchise. Obviously, the first one is still number one. the stuff in between can all kind of just,
blend together.
yeah. Honestly,
Yeah, no,
because
you're
they're all
right.
just whodunits with failed flip turns, failed reveals.
Yeah.
So that's all they are. So I don't know. I'd probably give it to you that 5. I guess 5 is probably maybe the better ones of those. I guess probably for just production values alone.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. There's something to take away from all of these, and I think that's why this franchise endures. But I think this one had the least to take away since 4 for sure. And I'd have to rewatch 4. I just was so turned off by 4. But yeah, God, it's like usually you could take away either the kills, the killer, or the production design, or something that you could go, this was the one where they did this, and I like this. Like, there's a lot of something in these, and like a lot of that has to, the same stuff as the Halloween franchise. How many times have we gone, well, the first Halloween is great. The second one, I think people, liked when they first watched it and then go back now and kind of cringe a little bit. That's kind of the way I kind of see the legacy of that one. The third one gets a pass. It's kind of in that weird nebulous zone because it's not a Michael Myers movie, but people like it and it's this whole thing.
Cult
So we could
movie.
toss that out. But the Rob Zombie ones have no life. To like, some people like them, but they're very polarizing and mostly don't have good scores. And I would not. I hated him. I hate the whole idea of it. I'm not a big Rob Zombie fan as a director or any of that at all. But and then the latest ones, they steadily got worse as they went along. And they had a bunch of stuff that made us mad. And we like H2O, but then was a Resurrection was a piece of crap, like one of the worst movies they have ever done. And the same way with the ones, the non Jamie Lee Curtis ones in between. The first one of those is actually better than people think, and then they immediately made one of the worst ones with it with the same carryover cast. So I don't know. None of these can hold up.
No.
And the only thing you could say about these movies is that because the cast is good, like there's a lot of good actors in these franchises, and it does endure for that reason. But good God, can you at least help us somewhat with the fucking stories now?
Yes.
Because this one just kind of, it was already like dangling by a thread, especially with all of the turmoil that went on and the change of cast and everything else that they had to do. It's like it just had to have a story locked in that made it all worthwhile. And now you could see that it's like, nope, they just had to really reconfigure and tear up an old script and kind of put the puzzle pieces together, and nothing seemed to make sense. So, I guess maybe Matthew Lillard will come back again, and this time it'll be for real. Maybe, I don't know. I'm telling you, there's something about a Euro trip or a spring break or something. Can you see Ghostface with the ghost head, but like a bikini bottom? I'm all about it. Think about it. Get to writing. All right, sir. Great job as always. Thanks to everybody out there for listening or watching, wherever you're consuming. Please subscribe to either our YouTube channel if you are watching on video, or our Spotify or Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get our podcast. The numbers have been growing, and I appreciate you all for that. Shane's been putting in the work too, doing his solo missions. So be sure to check us out on the socials where a lot of those live. Some of them are also on YouTube, but we are at Recent Act Pod on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. So check out all those. Shane, tell the people about your latest solo mission and where to find it.
Oh, yeah. Latest solo mission was The Bluff with Carl Urban and
Priyanka Chopra Jonas. Yeah.
And I swear it's a good, as I said in my review, it's a flat out hour and a half of just nothing but action. No plot, and that's perfectly fine. But for like an Amazon Prime movie coming off of Wrecking Crew and going right into
Right.
this, I'm like, hey, man, they're 2 for 2 right now as far as entertaining you. And that's
Sure.
all I want,
Like
so
what streaming movie should be, I guess.
yeah, just good action, man, like a '90s throwback. Just, give it to me, and they gave it to me, man, and I enjoyed it, so go check that out. I just put that up 2 days ago. You can
Yep.
find that on our Instagram page, so
And I put it up on our Twitter
yep.
as well. People are starting to like it there as well, getting that. So check it out there. And check out The Bluff so you can see if you enjoy Shane's comments and see if it rings true. He rates these as well, so be sure to compare notes on those. And like I said, subscribe. Be sure to come back each and every week. Next week should be an interesting one. There's a lot of stuff coming out, but we'll see.
Yeah,
I
we'll
think
see.
there's a lot. Like we'll have to really discuss to see what next week's going to cover. So be sure to come back next time for more recent activity.